So firstly, let me share with you what I have been studying for this DP exam. So I have take a look at the guideline of the official exam of the official training for Microsoft, where they hold like either a virtual course or like a real-time course where you come and meet, but I'm not sure like they would do that in this situation. But I was take a look to see what they have been what they would be doing with the exam and how they would train people for these exam topics. And what I see is this. So So I have a look at Databricks because Databricks is recently purchased by Azure. So I would guess they have a lot of emphasis on that. And in here, then I see that in the training module for DP 200 and 201, you can see that they will ask you to read the data with Azure Databricks here. And so this part, I guess they will ask you like how to pick out the line of code that like enable you to read on the Azure Databricks. So that's why in the Slack channel in this week, I hope you guys can hear me well. Let me see here. So I'll show you guys in here. When you guys look at the resource, I think I put it in this. Let me see. Yes, in here I have included the module on the Databricks and how you guys can read or like how you guys can see through with the Databricks. And in here there is an exercise that you have to pick out the line like how to read the file. So read and process huge data files. So go through this exercise because it will also help with your real exam on this. And you can see that in the DP 200 guidelines. So if you go back, let me see. If you go back and you go to the Microsoft official handout here. So there will be module on like read data in Databricks, and I'm very sure that if they ask for this, likely they will ask you on the syntax of like how to read on. Hang on, let me see Databricks. Let me see. Ingest, okay. So I guess it will be this part like ingest data in Databricks. So they will ask you like how to read the data, and like how about if it is a large amount of data that you have to like ingest in Databricks. So yeah, so pay attention to this module of learning, and also pay attention to like the syntax because they might ask that. I did check out on some of the on some of the practice tests, and they doesn't include the syntax. So, but then Microsoft could change the content. So just to be on the safe side, we should follow close to the to what suggested on Microsoft Learn, and also what they are training others on their real class to be sure about passing the exams. So back to what I was sharing about my data engineer test, because even though it's not on the it's not on Databricks, but I already created a notebook where you can run Spark and you can explore the syntax with that. And in here, if you use the same environment, you will be able to use the same syntax that you use on Databricks to like read, write, and manipulate data and things like that. So let me share with you some of the features, and also what you could do if you see the similar test like this. So I just want to be clear that this test is not an Azure test, and this test is just purely on data engineer. And this is the test that I had this week when I was applying for a company. And I thought this is very interesting because they start to ask on like big data and how you could address it in the big data way, which I choose Spark and uh, which is choose Spark and Colab as my tool. But then of course for Azure, then you can use Spark and Databricks for this. So let me go back to this exam. And after I showing you guys this, and I'll talk a little bit about Packetfile and why is it important for everyone to know about this file type, and then how is that tied back to our subject on like columnar and row storage. And then after that we will move to a very dry and very boring part of learning for DB200, which is about security, because last time in the last session we were discussed about security and we haven't finished on that yet. So I'll continue on that topic. So let me go back, then I'll share with you guys on this. So I hope everyone have a chance to read the exam already. If you haven't, then please go to the resource channel, and in there I post the exam on there. So so I hope you guys have a chance to read it already. So again,
Yeah, I saw it a bit, but not in detail. But I'll see it now. Thanks.
okay, that's good.
Actually, Jane,
Yes.
Halibai was busy in getting Azure Nano degree. He just got Azure Nano degree today, maybe.
Oh,
Congratulations for
congratulations.
that.
Yeah,
Congratulations. I didn't even start with that. I need to start it so badly. But now like
thanks,
Same
thanks.
here.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, I should do it because the last date is, I guess, in February, I guess. So it's near.
crap. February is the time I start my new job, so so I need to finish it this month. So how long did it
Yeah.
take you guys to finish the nano degree one?
So for me, I think it took almost 3 to 4 days for each project because in projects in second and third project you need to make a video also.
Oh,
And sometimes when you submit your assignment, they review it and maybe there is a change. For that you may have to do the lab again.
oh,
So I think these projects you may have to do it like 3 or 4 days per project. You have to fix them.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I see.
So you
Okay.
should better hurry
And
if you want the
and
degree.
and these 3 to 4 days are for expert. Okay, Khalbai is an Microsoft expert, so that's why 3 to 4 days. For me, it is like 1 to 2 weeks.
Oh crap! I need to start on it soon. That I haven't even started because I was so occupied with other stuff. Good to know, Khalid and Ali, for sure
Yeah,
started.
but I've also shared the links for the labs. Like if anyone needs some kind of guidance, so like they can see it. I've shared it on my LinkedIn. All the three GitHub repos.
Yes, that would be a major help. I was so lost with that one, and I need to
Yeah,
study that to pass the DP 100. I think the exam content will be very close to.
data. Yes, data scientist exam. Yes,
Yes, yes.
quite similar.
I still plan to get pass on that. So let me briefly talk about this this exam a little bit. Actually, so let me open the exam on, and now we will see it together.
Sure, sure.
Okay, let me switch to the other account. I think I got signed out on this. I just thought it's very interesting case, and it's very related to what we have studied in the past, So that's why. Okay, I can. Uh, hmm, okay, so so basically, the first, well, in both of the question, you need to use this public data, and you can find a lot of information about this public data using the online, using like you just type in like green taxi, green trip data, and Azure Databricks. There will be a lot of notebook written on using this database, so it's very easy for you guys to find a an example to work with this. So basically, the first question is to ask me how to write the data into bucket type, and you can you can try in my in my Colab notebook, like how to write it in Packet and how to read it in Packet, because the environment is already set up for you. So what you would need to do if you use my notebook is to download this CSV file and then upload it on Colab. Or also an alternative way is you just install it directly to the storage there using Wiget. So after that, and you can try to like let me see. Firstly, you need to define the schema, because Spark is schema on grid. So when you first read the data, you need to define the schema of that. And normally, well, sometimes it can automatically detect the schema. So this ability is called infer schema. But a lot of other times, if you want your schema to be 100% correct, then you need to manually define it. So there's different type of you know uh, different type of data like timestamps, integer, decimals, and you can find that in the Spark guideline. And I'll show you what I defined it with. And so the second one is use SQL statements to define these features. So one hot encoding duration, and drawing a bounding box for the coordinates. So Spark have the SQL abilities to do all of this. And I'll show you guys also, because I remember in one of the sessions on Spark, someone was asking like, how to run SQL on this. So I'll show you guys briefly. And then the main topic today, we will talk about how my approach on the, like how what was questioned on like type of packet file, because it's very crucial. And you guys talking about cloud and big data, that you need to leverage the packet type format. And then also I'll talk to you guys a little bit about CIA triad model, so you guys can understand next. Because when you go with cloud and big data security, no, yeah, sorry, big data engineer, that a lot of times the security topic will be there. So that's why I want to take time on this security topic in both for the Azure test and also in for the real life, when you like apply for data engineer role, and when you are ready for the interview. Then this is very, very important. So let me share back to the other screen so you can see the notebook that I prepare. Oh, hey guys, for people who just joined, I'll use first 15 minutes to talk about a test that I recently received, and also some of the solutions and some of the topics that related to the topics that we have studied, like packet file rows and column row and column data format, and also security format, because I want to refresh everyone on these topics and how it ties to the real life work. And I think it will help you guys to remember more. And then after that, we will talk about some really dry content on Azure security. So that's why I want to talk about these topics now, so that we have more fun and engaging time. So like usual, these steps, if you guys have been in my other class, you guys probably know about these steps, which is the way to set up Spark on the Colab or in the other cloud environments. So now if you gonna install it in your local computers, then you need to set up something else like a Spark Home and Java Home. So these steps you need to Google, and it's very straightforward. There's no difficult at all on these steps, especially if you use Linux. If you use Windows, then there's a little bit complicated in the using WinUtils to set up, but I can guide you guys if you want. So this step is just to install and set up the Spark environment, and this is to import the PySpark SQL. So for Spark, you guys can write SQL queries on this, just like how you would write SQL on the Hive or Impala. And remember this because it's one of the questions that often come up if you are interviewed for the big data role, is that Spark can use normal SQL engine or Hive SQL Hive SQL engine. So it supports both, and you can write statement in Spark in a normal SQL or Hive SQL. So as the first question is to define the schema and write it back to the packet file. So this is the way to, so infer schema is the automatic way for Spark to read your, sampling your data and infer it to see what type of, to assume what type of the data it is. It works sometimes, but a lot of time it doesn't work. So that's why you need, so a lot of times you need to manually define the schema here. So, you can check of different type of data here on the Spark official website. So if you were do the test like this, sample the data very well, because this is the first mistake that I did is I didn't check the data very well. Some of the columns that I have is wrong. So remember this. If you see this type, they ask you for define the schema. Don't just oh, this look like integer, then put the integer here. You have to actually go in and understand about the data type very well, because sometimes there are exceptions on that. So after you infer the schema, then there is the schema here, and this is just an extra steps. You don't have to do this. This is the way to write UDF, which is user defined function. I haven't talked about this in any of my previous class, so this is a more advanced topics, and I put a demo here. So if you guys interested in learning how to write a user defined function in Spark, then you can see how I write and how I define the schema here. So user defined function in Boolean, and then I rename which column to, for example, the column store and flag to a certain user defined schema. So the reason is because the store and flag column is the Boolean, so it's true and false, but then it's show at y and n. So as Boolean data has a more uniform. So if your column have just two values, and two values, one present true and one present false, then you could do an additional step to turn it into true false value for a better conformity. So this is an extra step, but it's just I just want to show you guys this to show Spark does have a lot of customized ability, and one way of customize is use a user defined function, and you can see the schema change with this. So one question in the interview is that you can also use SQL to run SQL to change the type of the data, and with this, so you doesn't need to use UDF. So what are some advantage and disadvantage of use UDF versus this stuff? So think about this, and I'll talk more on this on the next topics. I'm just trying to give you guys some food for thought first before I tell everything. So think about this, what are some advantage and disadvantage in writing UDF versus manually write a code, or use Spark SQL to write a code in this. And this is a very common question. So it's not only on the data engineer, the data engineer top. Well, it's not only on Spark, but also on the, it's a common questions for example, if you use SQL, so you can create a user-defined function for SQL. So what is the advantage of writing a user-defined function versus if you write a normal script, to define it in the script? So what are the advantage and disadvantage on this? So give it a thought. because this is something that you will encounter a lot if you do data engineer in the real life. And so to this slide is the way to write a file to package. So once you run into this slide, then in here, once you connect to the to your drive, in here you will see a package file that contains the Q1DF package. So now the question is, how do you read back on the package file to turn it into like to read the data on this? Then you have to follow the exercise on the data brick that I share with you on the Slack channel. It's about, I think it's about 10, 10 hours of practice on the Azure Databricks, and it will be very, very helpful. So for people who joined later, I was showing everyone about, like how in the real training from Microsoft, there was questions on sorry, questions. There were like topics on like how to read and how to ingest data to Databricks, and Azure Databricks is like a notebook platform where data scientists or data engineer or data analysts could use, like similar to collab to like read and write data. So one way to ingest on it is right like is to read the file that outside of the notebook and got connected to the notebook. So you can practice it here for a real life environment instead of create a sandbox demo on there. So to the next one is to, this is just a simple action to like rename the column. And then this one is one hot encoding. So you don't need to turn it into array, but then, for data science folks, once you create when you create an array, then you can ingest it into the model more easily. So that's why I put it in the array for preparing for ingesting the model in it. So it's just an additional step because you can do it other way, like I wrote it here. So you can, use aggregate function like sum and group by, or like analytical function like partition by or group by. So you don't need to use it this way, but it's just easier for machine learning. So I'll send you guys this one, and this is just like the way to create bounding box using just SQL instead of fancy Python or PySpark code. So that's it for this test. So let me go to the next part of like defending my choice. So one thing that come up is for me during the test is they will ask about the data privacy part. So I want to remind you guys that if you see this question in the real life, remember about this method of CX. So CIAD. Okay, hang on. I need to close my door. I think my house is a little bit too noisy. Give me a minute. I'll be right back. Sorry, I'm back. So let me talk about this model again. So when you talk about security design on the data platform, you need to talk about CIA. So you need to talk about confidentially. So how do you ensure that your data is confident, that like no third parties or no unrelated party can access to your data. So you can do like encryption address, tokenization, authentication, data masking, which is something that Microsoft and Azure is very strong of. which is dynamic masking that we learned in the other class, where they like masking on fly, right? So data masking is something that you will also be tested on the DP200, and it's belong to the confidentially create view for specific role. So it's also something that we have talked about on the Azure DP200 using role-based access. And I'll remind you guys on this again when we move to the DP200 content and use, yeah, so Microsoft, there are also tools for this. So integrity. So how do you ensure the data consistency, accuracy, and trustworthy? So one thing that I would recommend you guys to check on is to uh, to check on the data profiling techniques, like how to ensure that your data is your data status, like when you receive the data, how do you sure that the data that you receive is the same with the data that it first sent to you. So data profiling is one technique, and you can also use like checksum to see like what is your data that you receive, version control, which is something that also in blob storage option, where like you can turn on the version control options. So if something happened to your data, you can use the version before that, and you can have the backup, just in case if your data is malfunction. So a multi-factor authentication, all of this is also supported in the Azure availability. So this is one of the topic that we talked about in the last time. So how you ensure that your data is uninterrupted and available across a region. So you have to think about like different religions, sorry, different regions of options of backup. So remember last time when we talked about it, we talked about, let me see, so this one, storage replication options. So we talk about LRS, ZIS, GIS. So all of this could be similar throughout other cloud. And remember about this when you talk about availability. So when we learn like everything very individually like this. But then, in the real life, when you apply a solutions, remember this triad to make sure that your solutions is have the balance of between, like, of course you can make everything very confidentially, but then it's such a difficult way to like access your data and use your data, then it's no sense, right? So you always need to have the balance in this. So this is the ways for you to remember about these security features, and you can also apply this in the test when there is in the test case. So also another thing that I want to highlight to you guys, that each cloud will have a security practice and framework. So it's a good idea to go out and to check for the framework that available in each cloud. So in AWS, because the company that I'm applying to is using AWS, so I'll have to pick up on that again because I haven't used AWS for a while. But on Azure, I know that there is Azure best practices that recommend for cloud as well. So if you guys start to learn more about cloud and want to go deeper on that, I'm very recommend you guys to check out on the security and best practice for the cloud that you are try to study up. So that's it for the security part. So let me talk a little bit on the package file, because this is crucial to learn about in the real life of big data. So remember when we talk about columnar format. So let me pull up on that for you guys. Okay, So this, so remember when I was talking about columnar oriented, right? So where row is like where you have one big file, and the columnar where you have like individual column and each represent a file. So one of the question is, why you need to emphasize and you need to use packet, and how is columnar oriented is an advantage than row oriented. So firstly, let me talk a little bit about packet. So packet is designed as columnar storage, so it's this type, and to support a complex of data processing, and it also have a self-described data format embedded in it in schema. So once you define the schema embed in it, and you can reread it with the schema that is there already, so you don't have to define it again. So what is the advantage of column oriented? So normally when you query your data, then you need to look for a specific information, right? So you need to look for, like, for example, you need to find like customer ID and the product that they purchase. If you store it in row oriented, then they have to scan the whole table to find that specific columns, and in that, so that they can find like the ID of the customer and what they purchase. While in volume, you can extract exactly the ex- exact columns that you are looking for without having to scan the whole table. So that is the advantage of the packet file over other file. So besides packet OCR, so let me type it here. Oh, I cannot type. So basically, okay, let me type it in here. So in the OCR, you see, so OCR is also another data type that are stored in column format. So and these two are often used when we talk about big data. And another one, um, AV-row. So AV-row is row-based format. So AV-row and CSV is row-based, and package and ORC, sorry, ORC, not OCR. Oh, gee, in my mind. OCR, ORC is stored in columns. So these are some of the areas that you could be often get asked in the data engineer interview. So remember on this for this. All right. So today let's go back again on the Azure sessions for the security on the data. So you guys have any questions so far before we move into to this part?
Yes, I have one.
Okay.
Uh, Jane, can you define what Databricks offers and how Databricks is different from Collab?
Oh yes, sure. So Colab, even though it's also use Spark, but then it's not distributed. Sorry. Please give me a moment. So so collab so collab is not a distributed, it's just a notebook in the tester environment, and you are not supposed to use it in the production environment. So it's very good for you to like exploring exploring different files, and check out what is there, instead of like have to install that in your own local computer. But then in the production environments where you have to like where you have like a large group of people that you have to like sharing the data and accessing the notebook together, then it's not an optimized environment because it's just in one machine, and it's not in the cluster. So basically, what Databricks is just an interface for analysts, for data scientists, and for data engineer to access and write script to manipulate the data. And after you write a script, they will execute depends on the logical plan of the Spark engines. The brick they use a collab, they also use Spark, but then it's just on one machine. While while Databricks, there's a cluster behind that for you to execute to take advantage of the Spark power on distributed system.
Thank you, Jane. Now I completely understand and relate to the use case. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
So let me go back on this and I'll hang on. Let me just extend this a little bit. Okay. Let me go back to the structure of Spark and I think you will understand it more. So remember, when I talk about crap, did I delete that one? Okay, yes, I delete the most important picture about Spark architecture. But imagine, so well, you are in a client machine, right? So everything you write here. So in this is just an interface. So this interface you can use you can use Databricks, you can use you can use Colab, you can use your own local computer that can run Spark, to write script on this. But then the behind this, the script had to be sent and to be executed somewhere, right? So with Colab, it's just one single machine of 16 gigabyte GPU or CPU, depends on what you set up. But then on Azure Databricks, there will be a whole architecture behind it to execute your data. So you will have like multiple drivers and multiple executor in the different distributed machine to run your script. So in for a big data environment, it is better to use Databricks to run and to execute your data.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Jane.
You're welcome. So let me refresh you guys on the topic of security. Hang on, sorry. So before the break, we went on like talking about extensively on like Azure AD, so Active Directory, ID management, security on blob storage, type of storage account and authorized access, and different storage exercise. So like understand cloud provider and some of the best practice on Azure network security. So for today, we will go a little bit deeper and we will talk on some of the features for Azure SQL, Azure SQL database, and some of the features for Azure storage, Azure storage account. Hang on, just a moment. Yes, for the Azure storage account, because these are the topics that you will be directly test on your test. So what are some of the features of security that is offered for Azure security, Azure SQL database? So remember Azure SQL database. Let me go back. Oh, I think I messed up. Okay, it's in another slide. Okay, so if you haven't remember Azure SQL database, please go back to the second presentation. There will be the definition of like what is Azure SQL database and what we will be test on Azure SQL database, because there are two types and we only gonna be test two. And also with similar to Azure storage, these are component of different storage that offering on the Azure. So it's not like just a, so it's actually a name. It's not a noun, but it's a name that includes different type of storage offering on Azure. So I just want to clarify on that first so that we don't get confused because of the naming. So let's talk a little bit about protect data address. So as you know, and this is the same with all other data on cloud too. So normally in most cloud that I know, all of your data is encrypted address. That means like if you put a data in the blob storage, or if you put a data in S3, which is a bucket on cloud, then all of these data, when it reaches to that bucket, is already encrypted. And the encrypted is the standard encrypted is AES, which is 356 advanced encryption standard. You don't need to remember this, but I just throw it out for you guys to know. So all of your data is encrypted, and only when you read the data from the database or from the storage, then the data is start to decrypt and return it to you, and it doesn't. There's no additional charge, and it doesn't impact your performance, but also you cannot disable it. Okay, so another one is protect your data in transit. So this is what we have learned about dynamic masking. So let me open the link on dynamic masking, and we will talk about it again, because this is a feature that only available in Microsoft. Sorry, a little. So sorry, I forgot to include the link. Okay, so let me see if I okay, let me see a better picture to show you guys on this. Okay, I'll go back to the slide. Okay, here we go. So let me remind you guys on some of the term in here, because it has been 2-3 weeks since we haven't talked about this. So this is called Azure Storage, which includes six features like queue, table, block, file, and disk, right? And then we have let me see. And then we have data lake, which is built on blob storage. And then we have the Azure SQL, is what I was talking about. So Azure SQL is an umbrella terms, and there's 3 services like virtual machine, managed instance, and database. So in the test, let me see. So I believe the last time I mentioned to everyone is that in the test, you mostly will just care about database, and you also care about managed instance. So no virtual machine on the SQL for this. So remember these 2 only. So let me put on the slide on encryption address for you guys. Okay. Okay, it doesn't have encryption address here, so let's go with the standard textbook database. Standard document is all right. So basically, what encryption address is that? For data masking is that there will be sensitive data on your cloud, and what you don't want is someone who doesn't have the authority to access it. So that's why we have the masking data, where it's important because you it's ensure that your data is not exposed to someone that unauthorized for that, and it will be a very important part of the exam that you know what a data masking is. So so in Microsoft, besides data masking, there's a function of dynamic masking, dynamic data masking, and it has been a feature on even on the on-prem uh, SQL database, and now they have it available on cloud. And basically, dynamic data masking is to help prevent the unauthorized access to sensitive data by by masking a certain data. That's, for example, like you have like you have here like different function, like you have default, so they go like automatically a function where you mask default data. So you can see here like in here like like there's a format date. So you can pick the data type, the data to data times and data offset. So remember when I talk about Spark and infer schema, so it's similar like this. Like they will automatically assume the values for you based on your data. So what if you want to specifically mask a certain type of information without they infer, without they try to understand it for you? So there's other options like credit card masking, where you mask all of the credit card number besides the last four number, and email masking, where you like hide the sensitive information and just leave certain data like this. And random number is just like this method. You just give like random data based on the bounding box, like you want to mask between 1 to 1000, for example, and they will randomly choose the type of the number for you between this range. And custom text is where like you have the way to customize the text in here, and then they will so basically you create a boundaries, and they will and pattern, and they will mask it for you based on the pattern that you define. So please remember about data masking and the policies. So like basically create and update and get the data masking policies. So these are all what you need to remember for security on the SQL database with the data masking. Oh, and there's also very important question. So remember about when I post on the channel before on like the DP200 exam review resource, please go back to that, and there will be a guideline on like what will be tested on the exam, and in there will be questions on there will be areas where you need to remember on the data masking. And another area that you need to remember about that is TDE and always encryption. So let's go through with the TDE for this. And sorry, give me a moment so I can pull the information. So okay, so this is another topic that you will be tested on this. So transparent data encryption. So it's also another feature of data masking on the Azure, and what it helps is that it help protect on the real-time performance on the Azure SQL and Azure Synapse. So so in here you have a few options. For example, for data encryption, you can bring your own key to encrypt the data. So if the key will be managed on the Azure Key Vault encryption, so you have the chance to encrypt and encrypt it on fly. And in here you have if you don't need to decrypt the database for operation within the Azure. So sorry, I get confused on this. Okay, I'll check. I'll double check on this again. Sorry, I think I'm missing some information on this topic. Okay, so let's do this next time. I'll explain to you guys on the TDE and also on the always encrypted. So I'll hold you guys two topics to explain to you guys, because the slide I prepare is a little bit different from the authorized document from Microsoft, so it caused me some confusion. So I'll take notes and I'll let you guys know in the next topic. So this one I'll highlight and okay. So I'll give you guys on TDE and always increase in the next topic. Sorry about that. I must have too much fun in the holidays. I screw up my slide. So these are the two topics that I'll give you guys in the next one. So let's move on to the next feature so that we still have some time for the session. So another feature that we will have is so another feature that we will have is for support for cross-domain access to cross-resource sharing. So well, so when you share information across domain, you can assure that it is supported for cross-domain sharing with a security information in mind. And also there's third one is you can control who access your data through Azure Active Directory and role-based access control. So as we talked about in the last lesson, Azure Active Directory is where you control everyone who has the authorized, even control role and control the app who have the authority to access your data. So these are two areas where you do most of your security with. And also you can have the chance to audit storage access through built-in storage analytics. So basically when you download and upload the data, there will be a log on this and they will show like who has downloaded and who has uploaded the data. So based on that, you will have the audit log to double check back when there is a need that you need to see if if there is a suspected activities. And in this document is the it's just some exercise where like you have to like restrict network access. So like you have to talk on like firewall, how to set up like firewall rules and things like that. So how about this? Since I still have two topics that we haven't talked about this, let's do this TDE and the exercise on the next class, because there's a lot of information that I need to talk to you guys on like firewall and how to allow access to the SQL services. So let's the topic and this slide for the next class. Then we will move this slide to this. We will first talk about Azure security feature for the storage in this class instead. So let's move on here. Then we will move on here. Okay. So remember Azure storage, as I mentioned to you guys, these are the 6 features that we need to remember. So queue, table, blob, and then in here you have file storage and disk storage. So this is for the VM and it won't be an exam. So when we talk about the Azure storage for DP200, we will focus on the queue, the table, and the blob storage, and especially the blob because this is the foundation for the is the foundation for the data lake. So in this one, we will talk about how to secure the Azure storage. So Azure storage account can create out. So once you get the Azure storage account, you can authorize app in the Active Directories. So remember, I just talked to you guys about like, Active Directories is where you authorize app and authorize outside application to access to your resources. So it will be where you go in there. So this authentication approach is most fit for blob and queue storage. So for all the storage model, you need to use a share key. So you can see here like share key or share secret key or storage account key. So there's 3 different names. Um, remember to use this type of key for all the storage models and the storage account key. So when I refer to this storage account key, has only two keys, and these two keys provide a full access to your account. So because these keys are very powerful, then you only use this method for just in-house applications. You don't use it for other application that you don't trust and you don't build yourself. So if you need to use if you need to let a third party application to access your storage account, then then there's an option to use SAS, so share access signature. So let's first we see the best practice for storage account key, and then we will talk about SAS and then the different model of it. Okay, so you can read more on this later on, but I really want to highlight like in up here you can see like how to get and get information of your of your share account key, and you see like this method you can see the whole authentic authentication storage, and this key is confidential, so don't share it to a third party. If you yeah it's not a recommend practice to share it to the third party. So this is the recommend practice to protect your share key, so you can read it here. So if someone hacks your application and get the key, then you need to regenerate the key. And if someone in your team leave already, so you also need to refresh and regenerate the key again. So these are the most main two features on this. And to refresh the key, so you need to change each just app. So once you refresh the key, then you have to do the whole authorization again for secondary key. So refresh the primary key is in the Azure portal. And once you refresh the primary key, then the new secondary key value will follow it. So you also have to change the secondary key. So these are the practice to protect share key. So let's go to here. Let's go to here to talk about the SAS model. So remember, you only use this type of model for third-party app. For now, for in-house app that you build your own, you don't need to use this. So firstly, in here you have two type of level. So the service level, which which is type of signature for the other app to access your storage account, and you can allow it to retrieve list of file, to download the file. And what account level is everything of service level plus other resources that you allow them to access. So this way of dividing the level is easier for you to manage, because the only two tiers. The service level tier is something you set up for most of the application of the third party, and the account level is where you have further customized on like what else you want to grant on each of the apps. So for the SAS access key, there are also two types of designs. So you can see here is the first type of design where the data is read through a proxy. And then after that, so this proxy will ensure your data is secure, and then it will go to Azure storage. And this, because it uses proxy, so it will be slower, and it's not the recommended method to use for big data for like high volume transaction and on high demand. So another way to use it is you use SAS provider service. So this one is could be more lightweight and is more suitable for the high speed data that you need. So this is the model where where when you execute, and it will go through a SAS provider to access your cloud storage. read to save your data. Okay, so we talk on the last part is advanced threat protection, and then we will go to the quiz, and I think we will end for today. I think I get it. Oh crap. Let's see. Okay, so this part is where you get the advanced security. So basically, it just Azure Defender for storage is an extra layer of security intelligence to detect unusual and potential harmful attempts to your account. So it's an additional feature and it's available for blob storage, file, data lake, and account. Oh, sorry, it's just data lake account. So basically, this is the extra features, and if you want to use it, you just need to enable it here. So advanced security enable it on. So here all of the security anomalies that it will detect. So once it turn on, it will detect like different like anomalies actions in like event time. For example, if you normally access your data in the daytime, and then if you access your data in the nighttime, then it will send you an alert, for example, like that. So these are some of the area that is be able to detect if things go out of the natural routine, and it will send you an alert for you. So you have seen this in a lot of places. For example, like if you have the credit card, and if suddenly purchase a very high amount, and it send you some alert like this purchase is out of range, are you sure you are the one who purchased this? So these are anomaly detection, and this is the same method that Azure is using to add additional security layers to your blob storage. So that's it for the advanced protection. So let's do some quiz, then we will carry on with the sorry. Okay. Okay. So let's do some quiz. Then we will continue with the security in the next session. So do you guys want to give the guess for this? So let's do some quick guess for this one. So for the question one, you are working on project for third-party website. So you want to give the read access to this data for limited period of time. What security option would the best to use?
Maybe the shared access signature.
Okay, let's see. When you configure network access to Azure storage account with the default rule. So this one should be in the first slide that I haven't go through yet because we haven't have time to go.
So
Okay.
actually, I thought that maybe the first principle of security is to give minimum access. So
Yes.
that's just my guess that it's third option. Like I have not read this section also.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Let's guess and see. What Azure service detect anomalies? Oh, we just do this, so you guys should be able to answer this. So which one is it to detect anomalies activities?
I think it was the second one.
Are you sure?
I don't know. I just lost my focus in the
Okay,
last
all
part.
right. That's all right. So remember, okay, let's check on this. Okay,
So just one.
that's all right. So let's go on this one. Remember that encryption in transit is basically dynamic data masking. So when the data leaving out your SQL database, it will be encrypted on-fly. So that what encryption in transit is. Azure storage security feature, it doesn't exist. So the one is advanced threat protection because we just talk about here. So it's actually the service name. It's not a now term. It's not a term. It's a name of the service in the Microsoft. So this is this one. Yeah, I know Microsoft is very confused. I think one way that you can detect whether it's a common noun term or is it a or is it a services, you can see that normally if the services they will like capitalize on every letter. So it's the one way to know that is they are referring to a service. So this one, when you configure network access to your account, what default network should be. So I think it could be this one. So because if you deny all connection, then basically you
Mhm.
cannot access to your storage account at all. So you can do this like you allow connection from certain range, but not all the network. So yes, and this one share access is right because this is a third party vendor. So let's check the answer. Oh, this is still wrong. Okay, then I for sure this one then. Let's see why it's wrong. Default.
Actually, it was,
Oh, default rule is all the network. Ah, okay.
but this one seems a bit, I don't know, it seems a
Unsecure,
bit
right?
incorrect. But yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's a
Oh,
confusing, yeah,
yes,
trick question maybe.
yes. Because it's a default rule, so default is allowed to access to all the network. Then you need to configure it so that it's secure for your own learn for your own storage. So default it will let everyone connect, but then if you want to secure your data, then you need to follow the best practice, and for example, allow connection in the certain range. So this is talking about the default approach.
All right.
All right. So yes. So next class we will talk again on the TDE and one-way encryption, and it's very important as it was highlighted on the guideline that I sent to you guys. So see you guys next class, and I'll for sure have more information on this. So thank you, you
J-
guys.
Actually,
Yes,
Jane, before
check.
we end this, all right.
sorry.
Sorry,
Yes,
I wanted to say something before we end.
yeah, sure.
Okay, Jen. So my name is Frank, as you may have noticed. So I just joined the study group recently, and I was actually in the first days I was unable to join these calls due to the time zone differences,
Mm.
and I really found it to be useful and it's really important. And I hope like I I had started with you guys, but
Awesome.
unfortunately not. So I was like, I wanted to ask, how do you think I can actually like catch up with this?
Oh, you.
Because I recently worked with Azure for a while, but it's not that deep with data, big data.
Oh, okay. So don't worry so much about learning it in deep yet because there will be so much topics, and I'm very passionate about getting a lot of Azure certificates. So even if you miss out these sessions, then there will be more in the upcoming future about Azure and big data because it's where my passion is filled. So for the catching up, I would suggest there are several ways. So let me share with you guys the GitHub where I put all of the materials, and also the YouTube channel where I post all of the videos. So in there you can catch up with the last sessions. So Frank, can I ask you a little bit about your background, like whether you are in like which field of IT are you looking forward to?
Mm, so do you mean like the field I'm working to or the one I'm currently in?
Yeah, the field you are currently in, or the field you are wanting to move to, any is good.
I'm actually like, and I'm a software engineer.
Mm-hmm.
but I was like, I don't have professional experience in machine learning, but
Mm-hmm.
that's what I've been focusing on. I wanted to change to like focus on data science.
Sure, I understand. That's a very good field actually. So let me send out for everyone the resources that we have been following now. So let me share with you guys. So this is the GitHub one. So as you see that there's a link of all the materials, so you can see the foundation course is where I where I make slides about like fundamental knowledge of data engineer, and then this Azure service where I introduce every services that we need to learn for this Azure exams, and then the third one that I haven't add is the the slide that I just shared. I'll add it now. Well, let me add it after the class. So the third one is the Azure architecture. So this is where like I really start to talk about how to apply these services in the Azure landscape. So you will really like start to learn about the DP 200 materials in here. So what you miss is just basically the background of data engineer, so and Azure services. So since you already work with Azure, I don't think you have missed much, but then just in case if you want to rewatch what we learned, then you can access this link for resources on the for record this on the past class on the Azure DP 200.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes, also did you join the Slack channel?
Sorry.
For our study group?
Okay, I did. I joined.
Oh, okay. So in here, please check out DP 200 because I have shared different materials, but it's scattered throughout the forum. So hopefully it's still here. But if you don't see it, let me know. I'll upload it again so you guys can see it more. So yes, definitely you can catch up, and even if you're a little bit confused, the best I would suggest is keep on going because I'll repeat these topics a lot in the next classes, and that is my style because I don't believe in like one session you can remember all of the context. So you will see me like go back and forth with the materials that I already explained because I think it's the best way to remember the materials.
Okay.
Yes. So don't worry, Frank. I think you will do great. Just revise on the slices and continue for the next sessions could be great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. So you guys have any other questions? If not, then I'll see you guys at the same time next week.
Yeah, and no questions. See you next week.
Yes. Yes, sure. Please let me know.
All right, thank you. See you next week. I just want to ask if we could know what we're going to discuss next week. Maybe you can just get prepared so to follow along as you discuss.
Pardon? Sorry, can you repeat it, please, Chiam?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right, I was just asking whether you could tell us what you're going to discuss next week so we can get prepared and follow
Oh,
along as you
yes.
discuss.
Yeah, sure. So in next week, I plan to we continue on the oh, I don't have the slide open here. So basically, we will talk more on the security, and plan to spend at least 2 sessions on that because security is very important when you even like when you learn it when you apply it in the real life too. So I plan to spend like next week on talking about this topic and also go through with the exercise where you learn like how to customize the firewall rules. Is it good?
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I've noted it.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'll push the slide of the data architect one online within tonight. Then tomorrow you guys can see the content that we have talked about today in the class.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. All right, you're welcome. So I'll see everyone next week. Thank you so much and have a good weekend. Bye bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.